Friends, as we offer this Mass today for our family members living and deceased, the reading today led me to a reflection of a childhood memory from about the time when I was 9 years old. My parents are immigrants from Ireland, and back at the time I was 9, my grandfather, Pat Coughlin, who had never been on an airplane and was into his 70s, came to visit us in Boston. We'd been there before. We knew him kind of in his house in Mayo. But this time he was coming to ours to be with us. And I know my mother, who's waged a 40-year battle in that home to keep everything neat and everything the way it should be. No doubt when I was 9 and couldn't fully comprehend the importance of this visit to her, must have done so much to try to get that house ready for this most important of visitors, her own father, who would come to America and see her place, her home. A couple of weeks ago, I came across a photograph of that visit. My grandfather is sitting at our kitchen table, and there are several of us, young children, gathered around him. And in that moment, frozen in time, it could seem so much like Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus. We were there kind of basking in the glow of his presence. But yet my mother had been so much like Martha, getting that home ready for his visit. And I thought about my grandfather's return home to Ireland, the second time he boarded a plane. That as he flew off, having visited the homes of his 3 daughters here in the Boston area and their families, what did he take with him? Did he remember that the coffee table was just right? Or that the plates were set just perfectly? Probably not. But he spent time with us. He was basking in our presence as we were in his. And that intimate communion was forged even stronger as he came to be part of our world, the American side. And isn't that really the lesson of the incarnation, of what Jesus did as he comes to our world, to walk in our shoes, to understand our way of being as humans? So we think, too, about the Last Supper. Every Holy Thursday, we gather as a church community. We celebrate that holy meal. And we know that the Lord had given his friends instructions for that meal. Get the room. Get everything ready. Make it right, no doubt, he said to them. But yet in the midst of that meal, which perhaps they thought they had set up for him, he gave them 2 great gifts. The greatest gift of himself present in the Eucharist. This is my body, this is my blood. And then took a towel and began to wash their feet. And after the hurriedness of all of that work that they had done to prepare that meal, I wonder what apostle number 7 and apostle number 9 were thinking in their heart and in their mind as he went one by one and washed their feet. Not moving now, still, silent, and taking it all in, no doubt in deep prayer. For us, perhaps the lesson of this Last Supper, and maybe the lesson of my grandfather's visit to Boston, was that the people that love us come to us. They come to us sometimes even when we don't expect it, perhaps in places where we never thought we would see them. So today, if you watch from the confines of prison, or from detox, or from wherever it is, or the nursing home, wherever it is that you feel you may be cut off, you may be alone, you remember the power that God gives you as he comes to you through this great miracle that Father Bob and I were speaking of before this telecast began. The great miracle that this can be carried to so many people, not only in the United States, but throughout the world. And that's how God visits Martha now. We receive him that way now. Not only when we have everything in order, when everything is exactly in place. If that were the case, we may never ever be ready. He comes to us today. So my prayer for you this day is that you'll be open to that coming, that you'll recognize the power of your prayer, even if perhaps the phase of your life when the active work has waned with time. We're encouraged by the words of our Holy Father, Emeritus, Pope Benedict, that as he went into the seclusion of his retirement, he recognized he was going to a different ministry, another ministry. He wasn't retiring. He was giving up a little bit of a Martha to be a little bit more like Mary. I pray today that you feel that presence in a deep, deep way, even if you're not able to receive the Eucharist today. You know that the Lord comes to you with the gift of his Holy Spirit. And in that he unites us in this medium, but also, most importantly, in the grace of the communion that we share in the fellowship of the communion of saints. May God bless you and keep you in your prayer and in your work.